Over the last several decades, various dangerous ideologies have crept their way into the weave of American life. Ideologies that wish to either control America or destroy it. However, there are three in particular that are actual capable threats. We have socialism, which includes all its Marxist family tree, such as communism, progressivism, democratic socialism, etc. We have Islam and Sharia law, and we have Zionism. Now, we're talking about government politics here only. We're not talking about race or religion, just the politics. And on this show, I've discussed all three at one time or another. But today I want to do a side-by-side comparison and see how these three ideologies are a threat and how deep each one runs in the halls of our government. This isn't a conspiracy. The United States government has all three representatives of these ideologies within our government. I'm going to show you how.
You're listening to Uncle Sam Saves America, a patriotic show for the average Joe.
So to rank these threat levels, what I did here is I took these three ideologies and I'm going to rank them compared to constitutional principles. And I'm going to base it on three basic metrics. Presence, which equals the number of members or allies that they have within the government. Embedding, which equals laws, rules, policies, and protections that they have. And momentum, which is based off electoral gains, agenda advancement, media favorability. For example, starting with the legislative branch, presence will be the number of affiliated members and their influence, such as committee roles, bill sponsorship, etc. Embedding, which will be codified laws, funding streams, and policy inertia. And momentum, recent electoral gains, lobbying power, and the ability to advance any agendas that they have put forward. So let's start with the legislative branch and see how infested our Congress really is. All three levels have footholds, but their depths vary. Based on the criteria discussed, this is ranking from highest to lowest imminent threat within our legislative branch.
1. Zionism, highest threat. Deep, bipartisan institutionalization. Presence, near universal. Virtually all major players receive pro-Israel support. AIPAC alone backed 361 Democrats and Republicans in 2024 with $53 million. Influencing over 80% of Congress through direct donations, ads, and trips for both parties' leadership. Embedding, hardwired into law via the Arms Export Control Act, AECA, 1976, and Qualitative Military Edge, QME provisions, ensuring Israel's military superiority, with $3.8 billion plus annual aid locked in. These mandate executive assessments every few years, creating inertia against cuts. Ongoing push for a 20-year, multi-billion aid megadeal. Momentum, strong under Trump 2.0, GOP Senate amplifies it, with little Democratic pushback. Erodes constitutional non-interventionism by committing U.S. resources abroad, potentially dragging America into conflicts. Why number 1? It's not just capture, it's structural. Laws and funding make reversal politically toxic, outpacing the others in scale and permanence. 2. Communism/socialism, medium threat. Vocal minority with growing edges. Presence, limited but punchy. 6 to 8 core Democratic Socialists of America, DSA. Affiliated members in the House. No senators. Influence via progressive caucuses but diluted in GOP House. Embedding, no direct communist laws, but proxies like the Green New Deal frameworks or Medicare for All bills embed collectivist ideas. DSA endorsed locals feed federal pipelines. The recent New York City mayoral win by Zoran Mamdani signals youth surge. Momentum, mixed. 2024 losses blunt the federal gains, but DSA's 2025 convention eyes expansion. Local and state wins build grassroots, threatening the long term via education and labor policies that could centralize power. Why number 2? Smaller footprint than Zionism, but insidious domestic creep, erodes property rights and federalism more directly than foreign-focused threats, with potential to flip if Dems regain House in 2026. 3. Radical Islam, lowest threat, marginal, targeted presence. Presence, tiny, 5 Muslim members total. Radical label applies to 2 to 3 overlapping with DSA. Influence limited to foreign aid critiques, not broad agendas. Embedding, none positive, counterbills abound. Muslim Brotherhood Designation Act reintroduced care labeled terrorist-linked in Texas. H.R. 4097 pushes State Department review. Momentum, weak, GOP probes and reports on Brotherhood entryism heighten scrutiny. Recent wins like Mamdani are anti-Zionist/socialist hybrids, not pure Islamist. Why number 3? Outnumbered and legislatively isolated. Threats are more rhetorical/perceived than enacted, with active countermeasures limiting spread.
Zionism's bipartisan lock makes it the hardest to dislodge short term, while the others face headwinds. If GOP cohesion holds, all three could stall, but watch the 2026 midterms for Israeli influence through AIPAC and other various donors to track their shifts. Follow the money. If you're finding this analysis valuable, consider following us on Rumble. We break down what shapes our world 3 times a week. Moving on to our courts, where judges often view themselves as above the law, we'll see how deep the rot runs through our judicial branch. I'll apply similar metrics to the judiciary. Presence will be the number of affiliated judges and their influence. Embedding will be precedental rulings and structural biases favoring any particular ideology. Momentum, recent appointments post-2024 Trump win, and trends in partisanship. The overall composition. Supreme Court of the United States remains a 6-3 conservative balance with Republican appointees. District courts lean Democratic with 380 Biden, Obama, Clinton appointees versus 262 Republican per the latest count. And many have taken the law into their own hands when it comes to the administration's immigration policies. Appeals courts are mixed but increasingly partisan, with Democratic panels more reverse-prone against Republican trial judges. All three ideologies show less overt capture than in Congress. Judges are lifetime appointees, so their influence is subtler, but it's also more dangerous. Ranking from highest to lowest imminent threat for the judicial branch and a threat to the Constitution, let's take a look.
1. Communism/socialism highest threat, numerical edge in lower courts, progressive rulings. Presence, strong in district/appeals via Biden's 140-plus appointments, pre-2025, creating progressive majorities in key circuits. 100-plus judges in progressive caucuses or with ACLU/Federalist Society counters. SCOTUS liberals Sotomayor, Kagan, Jackson, amplify in divided cases. Embedding. Rulings embed collectivist ideas, e.g., expansive regulatory interpretations or equity-focused decisions on labor/environment. Studies show Democratic panels 6.9% more likely to reverse conservative trial judges, eroding originalism. Momentum. Partisanship rising. GOP pushes and Hill efforts to rein in activist judges, but Trump's early 2025 nominees haven't flipped the balance yet. Threatens federalism via centralized power rulings. Why number 1? Direct numerical/ideological capture in trial courts outpaces legislative DSA limits. Domestic policy creep is more actionable here than abroad. 2. Zionism, medium threat. Indirect via rulings, bipartisan protections. Presence. No explicit Zionist judges, but influence through pro-Israel rulings across ideologies. 20-30% of judges have attended AIPAC trips or similar per lobbying data. Embedding. Key precedents equate anti-Zionism critiques with anti-Semitism, chilling speech under Title VI. Appeals courts strike down some lobby suits but uphold protections. Momentum. Steady under conservative SCOTUS. Anti-Israel activism reports note judicial pushback, but no major reversals. Why number 2? Less entrenched than legislative laws, but rulings create de facto policy inertia. Flips from legislative number 1 due to judiciary's speech-focused leverage. 3. Radical Islam lowest threat. Token diversity no influence. Presence. Minimal, 4 Muslim federal judges total. None labeled radical. All mainstream Democrats facing GOP scrutiny. Embedding. None. Nominations like Adil Manji, first potential Muslim appellate, sank in 2024 amid Islamist smears. Rulings focus on civil rights, not Sharia or foreign policy. Momentum. Stalled. Brennan Center notes damaged trust from attacks but no gains. Counterbills in Congress limit any spread. Why number 3? Symbolic at best. 0 precedents or blocks. Even lower than legislative due to confirmation barriers.
Judicial capture is more appointment-driven and less overt than legislative, favoring socialism's progressive tilt over Zionism's policy lock-in. Watch the 2026 midterms for conservative rebounds, and this is where your local votes matter the most. If you're finding this analysis valuable, consider following us on Rumble. We break down what shapes our world 3 times a week. Finally, we come to the big dogs on the porch, the executive branch. Building on the prior analyses, this evaluates the executive branch, encompassing the president, the cabinet, 4,000 political employees, and over 2 million civil servants. The metrics mirror the previous, with presence being affiliated appointees and agency influence, such as the state, defense, DHS. Embedding will include executive orders, policies, and/or directives. Momentum, post-inauguration actions amid President's America First purge of 50,000 Biden-era holdovers. And under Trump 2.0, the branch is heavily conservative and nationalist, with 70% of the cabinet roles amplifying deregulation and security focus. And in this branch, pro-Israel alignment surges, while socialist and Islamist influences are either going to be purged or they're going to be designated as FTO. So, ranked from the highest to lowest imminent threats to constitutionalism, let's take a look.
1. Zionism. Highest threat. Cabinet stacked with pro-Israel policy acceleration. Presence. Dominant. 60% of key cabinet members like Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, Mike Huckabee as ambassador to Israel, Elise Stefanik as UN ambassador, are outspoken Israel supporters with AIPAC ties or evangelical Zionist backing. Jewish advisors like Jared Kushner and donor Miriam Adelson Shea policy. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth echoes hardline views. Embedding. Executive orders reinforce anti-Semitism combat and aid commitments. State Department directives prioritize qualitative military edge certifications. Momentum. Surging. November 2024 pics hailed as Dream Team by Israeli settlers. July 2025 Netanyahu dinner signals deeper alignment on Gaza and West Bank. Risks constitutional non-interventionism by embedding U.S. resources in Israeli security. Why number 1? Direct presidential affinity makes it structural, outstripping legislative laws with executive agility. 2. Communism/socialism, medium-low threat. Marginal holdovers, conservative counter. Presence, sparse, few progressives, 10 to 15% of mid-level appointees from Biden era retain equity-focused roles, but Trump's Schedule F revival targets them. Embedding, limited, no collectivist EOs. Instead, Project 2025-driven rollbacks. Labor Department shifts to worker freedom over union centralization. Momentum, declining, Cabinets, 70% Project 2025 ties block advances. June 2025 analysis shows anti-regulatory purge. Domestic centralization risk persists via career bureaucrats, but slower than judicial panels. Why number 2? Echoes judicial numerical edge, but neutered by Trump's ideological filter, less overt than Zionism's embrace. 3. Radical Islam, lowest threat, active suppression, blocked access. Presence, negligible, 0 high-level Muslim appointees. Controversies sank potentials. DHS and Department of State focus on vetting, which blocks brotherhood entryism. Embedding, counteractive, November 24th, 2025 EO initiates FTO designations for Muslim Brotherhood chapters in Egypt, Jordan, and Lebanon, citing Hamas ties and anti-US campaigns. Expands travel bans, no Sharia-line directives. Momentum, retrograde. EO targets Qatar and Turkey funding, but geopolitical limits apply. December 2025 analyses note legal hurdles, but broad support. Isolates any sympathizers, minimizing theocratic risks. Why number 3? Executive tools weaponize against it, far below legislative tokenism.
As you can see, the executive capture favors Zionism's alignment with Trump's worldview, flipping it to number 1 across all branches, enabling swift executive orders that bypass Congress and bypass the courts. You see, all these concerns are valid. Deep institutional entrenchment across various branches makes any ideology's dominance feel kind of inescapable, right? I mean, especially when it's right here in our own government, in our own homeland. But history shows that no capture is ever permanent, right? In a democracy, public opinion, electoral shifts, strategic pressures, they can all erode the most bipartisan of all strongholds, right? So the biggest machine right now is Zionism, according to this research. But socialism lingers in the deep state. However, it could face some dismantlement. Radical Islam is just outright adversarial, extremist, and insane. Right? The biggest lever right now is the American voter. There's a lot of public fatigue whenever it comes to fighting foreign wars and forever wars, whether they're allies or not. Right? The president promised in his campaign America First actions, and if the administration isn't careful, the public's going to turn on them at the ballot box. It's been 77 years, and Israel is widely recognized as having one of the deadliest armies on the planet. Many voters feel it's time for them to stand on their own 2 feet. And Trump's signing of executive orders combating anti-Semitism and initiating the Muslim Brotherhood as a foreign terrorist organization, those are all good things, all America First things. And while they do help Israel, they are America First. But unique treatment of Israel over other allies, it could backfire on us. Radical Islam remains marginal as a political group, right? But jihadists are embedded in their enclaves, and American taxpayer money is being skimmed and funneled overseas. So who knows what's happening with that? Who knows what we're really actually funding over there? And socialism grows at local levels, right? They indoctrinate our youth through education and entertainment. Their marginal congressional gains have all kind of stalled nationally, but they do, however, still control the media and they control academia, right? So again, local voting is going to be the best solution to fight socialism, communism, Marxism. As America faces so many threats, we must remember that freedom is fragile and it takes hard work to keep it alive. And hard work doesn't get done with clean hands. Right? Our rights are really privileges, and we have to earn them again day after day. Can the constitutional republic survive this day and age? Let me know what you think down below. Anyway, thanks for listening. If you're finding this analysis valuable, consider following us on Rumble. We break down what shapes our world 3 times a week.
You're listening to Uncle Sam Saves America, a patriotic show for the average Joe.